In today's True Crimes Tutorial Tuesday video, I'm talking about Eleanor Williams, so keep on watching to hear about her crimes and to see me create this makeup look. Eleanor Williams first made accusations of abuse back in 2017, but her claims didn't go viral until the pandemic, when she shared a series of social media posts in May 2020, when she was only 19 years old. Her allegations spread globally, and a Justice for Ellie campaign garnered over 100,000 Facebook members, with protesters taking the streets under the belief that the police weren't adequately handling the case. Little did protesters know, however, that at the time of her posts, Eleanor was already suspected of making up falsehoods by the police. In a Facebook post shared in May 2020, Eleanor accused a group of men of attacking her, even claiming that one of them had forced her to work in a brothel in Amsterdam. She also uploaded photos which quickly went viral, showcasing her covered in bruises, including a black eye and a severed finger.
It is an extraordinary story, a story which left a town shaken to its core, not knowing what or who to believe. And it began with this Facebook post.
I think this is the hardest post I'm ever going to write. I didn't want to share this because I'm scared of the judgment that will come with it. People need to be looking out for young girls and protecting them.
Alongside the graphic photos, Ellie Williams claimed she was being raped, tortured and exploited at the hands of an Asian grooming gang. Pictures of Ellie Williams, her young face and body covered in scars and bruises, were like a grenade thrown into the middle of this town. Barrow was torn in two, divided between the people who believed Ellie had been a victim of an Asian grooming gang and those who felt it was an elaborate racist lie. There were protests on the street, dark conspiracies online, a community profoundly damaged, its scars yet to heal. The day after the pictures were posted, there was an arrest, but it wasn't of any alleged attackers. It was of 19-year-old Ellie herself. Police said she'd broken bail conditions, having previously been arrested for perverting the course of justice. The same day, in a highly unusual move, the police then issued this statement.
What I would say is, when the question is asked, is there an organised gang of Asian men in Barrow conducting abuse or otherwise exploitation against individuals, our investigation has shown that that has not been corroborated or otherwise evidence.
If the intention was to reassure the town, to calm its sense of shock, it resolutely and very publicly failed. The far-right activist Tommy Robinson arrives to investigate the claims of Asian gangs grooming young girls.
And then obviously this story by this Ellie girl has blew it up, and the fact that she's been remanded, there's so much to it.
In the months that follow, resentment and anger festers on all sides. Asian businesses are terrorised. A local newspaper reporter is forced to go into hiding.
Eleanor's story of being forced to work in an Amsterdam brothel was disproven when evidence, phone and bank records shown in court revealed that the man she accused of forcing her into this was actually shopping in B&Q in the UK at the time that he and Eleanor were supposedly overseas. In fact, Eleanor and her sister had gone together to Amsterdam to celebrate Eleanor's 18th birthday. This led police to liken her claims about being trafficked to Amsterdam to the plot of the movie Taken. Eleanor had 6 mobile phones that she used to create the fake identities and manipulated the Snapchat accounts of real men she had met via the dating app Tinder or subscribers to her account on OnlyFans to make them look like they were Asian abusers. Police were able to prove that one Snapchat account that purported to belong to Jordan Trengrove, which seemed to be goading her about the rapes, had in fact been created using the Wi-Fi at the Williams family home on Walney Island in Barrow. Another claim that was shown to have been made up was that Eleanor had been raped after boarding a train to Blackpool. In reality, Eleanor had booked herself into a hotel alone and was watching YouTube videos at the time of the alleged attack. As for the bloody and bruised images that Eleanor uploaded to social media, The court heard how these injuries were likely self-inflicted. Eleanor initially stood by her innocence in court, but said she was sorry for the damage her Facebook posts had caused in her local area. Hate crimes had tripled in Barrow in Furness over the summer of 2020, and Cumbria police recorded 151 crimes linked to the case, including malicious communications, harassment and criminal damage to the properties of those accused of wrongdoing. But as the holes in Eleanor's story grew, she made an apology, stating, "I know I've made some mistakes and I am sorry," in a letter read out by her legal team. It stated, "I was young and confused. I'm not saying I am guilty, but I know I've done some wrong, and so I am sorry." Following her trial, Eleanor was convicted on 8 counts of perverting the course of justice and was sentenced to 8.5 years in prison. One of the men accused of rape by Eleanor, Mohammed Ramzan, known locally as Mo Rami, said during a hearing at Preston Crown Court that the lies had made his life hell on earth. He added that 2 weeks after his initial arrest, he attempted to take his own life. "I still bear the scars to this day," he said. Mohammed went on to explain that his property was damaged and his business had been ruined as a result of him being targeted. "I have had countless death threats made over social media from people all over the world because of what they thought I was involved in," he said. According to Sky News, businesses named in Eleanor's post had their windows smashed and fire alarms had to be installed at vulnerable premises. One of the other men Eleanor accused, Jordan Trengove, spent 73 days in custody and shared a cell with a convicted sex offender. While in court, Jordan said he had the word rapist spray painted across his house. "Things had calmed down a bit until the Facebook post in 2020, he said. "This made things even worse for me. There were big protests and marches in Barrow. The lowest point was when I tried to end my life in August 2020. A third man accused of rape by Eleanor, Oliver Gardner, said he only met her once, and so it was a shock when he was contacted by Cumbria police in regards to the claims. "It was just a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time," he said, of the allegations that ultimately led to him being sectioned under the Mental Health Act after he tried to take his own life. Elsewhere, Cameron Bibby, the first one accused of rape by Eleanor, revealed that he'd been forced to delete social media and was too afraid to pick his son up from nursery due to the online abuse he suffered.
If you were able to say anything to Ellie Williams today, what would you say?
Why? I want to know why you have done this to us, and I'd love to know why, because she's not only done it to me and Mo, she's done it to our families, and there's innocent children and kids involved in our families along with that, and she's destroyed their lives as long with ours.
The impact on the town as a whole has been almost as devastating. Police say the protests were the biggest in decades. Scores of hate crimes have been reported. Simon Fell, the local Conservative MP, says even though Ellie is clearly a damaged young woman, it's right that she should pay for the damage she has done.
No one does that to themselves if they're well. If they're in a good state of mind, if they're in a happy setup around them, then they just simply don't do that. So there's something that's gone on there. She is clearly a victim of something.
In terms of the legacy Barrow has been left with after this, how would you describe that?
We've been left with a permanent far-right presence in the community. We didn't have one before. Occasionally they'd stop in and do a protest, but that was it. But now, we have regular events with Patriotic Alternative, who turn up, spread leaflets of hate through people's letterboxes, and it's really ugly.
For Ellie Williams' mother, it's a devastating verdict. The court has decided she is a liar about really serious things.
Yep, that's correct, and in the eyes of the law I've got to follow that verdict and accept that.
So as Ellie begins to pay the price for lying about exploitation the court says never happens, Alison can only sit and wait for her young daughter to come home.
But she's a happy little thing, and so I miss that. I miss that energy in the house and her being here. But she'll be back again at some point, so we just got to look forward to that time.
But as she waits, Barrow itself must rebuild, a community torn in two by the lies of one young woman.
A 3-part Channel 4 documentary series is due to examine the case of Eleanor Williams. Undeniably, Eleanor's false allegations have had a shocking and heartbreaking impact on all those involved, but the impacts of her crimes go even further as they damage the claims of genuine victims who come forward. As such, it's important to remember that false allegations like these are incredibly rare and victims should never be discouraged from reporting their abusers. But yeah, that is the main thing that really frustrates me about this case is, you know, it then casts doubt on real victims and, you know, makes people less convinced when it actually does happen, and then makes it more difficult for when it has happened for the people that belong behind bars to be put there. So that has been everything for this case, everything for today's video. I hope you guys have all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.
I've just come to tell you that if you've ever got a walk at night, late night, get yourself one of these deep. If you ever felt this hit the wrong place on a body, then you know that this is that stuff. Get you one of these for the ladies to put in your handbag. Yep. Spray there, over for them. Spray their eyes, over for them. Then you've got time to, do you know what I mean? And then, because if we carry pepper spray, they'll send us to Her Majesty's Pleasure, and hot gal can't glue on their wig or get their hair and nails done in Her Majesty's. Actually, you can, but it's just the shebeen type, and hot girl can't eat prawns in Her Majesty's Pleasure. Hot gal will have to be doing bare Sis Edward, Scissor Man, and we don't want to be doing that. So hot gal needs to go get the deep heat for the late night excursions, for the deep heat for the streets. Oh my god, somebody's trying to move to me. Let me run, shit.